Hello, welcome to Arturs Roundtable. My name is Artur, and we have another edition of our show. And this time we have guests from Portland Archangel's community, and we're just going to go ahead and everybody is going to introduce themselves, and we're going to start with you, sir.
Good afternoon. My name is Chris Goodall. I'm a captain with the Portland Fire Department.
Меня зовут Илья Леонюк, я работаю журналистом в издательском доме Image Press в Архангельске.
My name is Ilya Leonuk, and I'm the reporter in the news agency Image Press in the city of Archangel.
And my name is Artur Kaptilin, and I'm the host of this show.
Меня зовут Олег Плахин, я работаю заместителем главного редактора газеты «Правда Северо-Запада» и информагентства «Эхо Севера», город Архангельск.
My name is Oleg Plakhin, and I'm deputy editor of the news agency Echo of North, and also in the regional newspaper in the city of Archangel, Russia.
Good afternoon. My name is Neil Duffett. I live here in Portland, and I'm the co-chair of the Greater Portland Archangel Sister City Committee.
All right, great. Now that we know each other, we're going to start talking. So first question is to Neil. Can you tell us about the history of Portland Archangelsk organization?
The city of Archangel is located near the Arctic Circle up in northwest Russia. And the relationship between Greater Portland and Archangel began in World War II, when over 200 Liberty ships were built here in South Portland. And many of the Arctic convoys formed up here in Portland Harbor, and they went across the ocean up to England, and many of them went on the Arctic convoys into Archangel, bringing urgently needed war supplies to Russia during the Second World War. That's how our relationship began. It became formal sister cities in 1988, and since that time, our nonprofit organization has coordinated the visits of perhaps over 1,000 people between our two communities.
That's really interesting history, Neil, and that sounds great. So that's a long ways to travel from Archangelsk to here. This is great. I personally really appreciate the history between our two countries, and you know, it's been kind of rough back and forth depending what's happening politically, and but at the same time, I personally believe that you know, we're the two most powerful countries, and we really need to be working together. So I definitely appreciate the exchange program. I look at it as part of the bridge that we're all connecting all together. And so one of the questions I have is that why do you think it's so important to work between our countries? The question to you, my friend. I'm sorry, I don't remember the names. It's going to be Russian.
Как вы думаете, какие вопросы самые главные стоят перед нашими двумя странами?
Я думаю, самый главный вопрос – это общение между людьми.
I think the biggest issue is communication among people.
Чтобы простые люди в России, простые люди в Америке имели возможность общаться.
So that common people here in the United States and common people in Russia would have a venue where they can communicate directly with each other.
И сегодня у нас появилась такая возможность, мы смогли посмотреть, как живут простые американцы.
And today, for example, we have this great opportunity to take a look at the life of common Americans.
Это произошло благодаря нашему участию в программе «Открытый мир», которая...
It all happened due to the Open World program,
которая финансируется Конгрессом США.
That is financed by the U.S. Congress.
personally, you know, growing up in the Soviet Union, I always dreamed of our countries getting along well. And do you have any? What would be your concerns about the current situation between our countries?
Илья, что вас беспокоит в взаимоотношениях между двумя нашими странами?
Некая напряженность и недостаток информации.
I think there's some tension in the relationships between our countries and also the lack of information about each other.
Сегодня мы разговаривали с одним пожарным, который был в России.
We had a conversation with one of the firefighters who visited Russia recently.
Он посетил много интересных мест.
He visited a lot of interesting places in Russia.
Узнал Россию получше.
And he learned more about Russia during his visit.
И сказал, что единственное, что нас разделяет, это язык.
And he said, the only thing that separates us is language.
И я думаю, он был прав.
I think he was right. He was correct.
Если люди будут больше общаться, больше взаимодействовать,
If people communicate more, if people interact with each other more,
иметь возможность путешествовать,
if they have the ability to travel to each other,
смотреть различные телеканалы, читать различные газеты,
and would have a variety of TV channels, variety of newspapers to read,
у них появится больше точек соприкосновения,
that they would have more in common with each other.
и отношения сдвинутся в лучшую сторону.
And the relationships would shift to the better.
Они научатся понимать друг друга.
People will learn to understand each other.
И я думаю, что сейчас главное, чего нам не хватает, это понимание.
And I think one major thing that is lacking in our relationships is mutual understanding.
Ведь большинство людей, которые ругают Америку в России или которые ругают Россию в Америке,
Because the majority of people who are cursing America in Russia and people who are cursing Russia in America,
не были ни там, и вряд
they've never traveled.
вряд ли общались с реальными американцами или с реальными
Those people
русскими.
never talked to the representatives of another country.
Их впечатления складываются по каким-то фильмам, стереотипам.
They build their impressions of another country by some movies or some clips in the news.
И программа «Открытый мир» тот инструмент, тот шанс, что на разрушение этих стереотипов и
And
на...
the program, Open World program, is the tool, is the vessel to eliminate those obstacles in our relationships.
чтобы сделать шаг навстречу друг другу.
So that people make a step towards each other.
Yeah, that sounds great. I totally agree with what you're saying.
Согласен.
And so I have a question to Chris. Have you been able to travel there, or?
I have. I was fortunate to be selected to go to Archangel in April as one of the first firefighters from America to travel over there. It's very interesting for me from the perspective of having grown up during the Cold War and always hearing about the Russians and worried about nuclear war and not really knowing what to expect. However, one of the benefits of being a firefighter is you become a part of a family in the fire service, particularly with the crews that you work with and the people that you work with. It's often referred to as a brotherhood, although really it's a brotherhood and a sisterhood now because we have female firefighters as well that are all one and the same in the family. And for me, one of the very interesting things was that the bonds of the brotherhood are the same in Russia as they are here. In fact, those bonds exist worldwide. We had a chance to visit stations all over the area of Archangel, and it was uncommon to leave a station and not leave with hugging the people that we had met when we were there, realizing that we were involved in the same dangers and in the same difficulties in our work. And really feeling like they were our brothers and our sisters that were working there. Many of us are still in close communication with people that we met over there.
Yeah.
I would agree that one of the real benefits of this program is that it makes the world smaller, not larger. When you have a chance to see, and as was mentioned, another firefighter that traveled over there mentioned, the only difference is really the language. And when we're together, we find ways to overcome the language so that we're really just the same people with the same concerns and interests.
Absolutely.
And it's been great for me to bring the world a lot smaller. It's been also interesting. I've had the opportunity, my wife and I, to host some students in our home from Archangel who have come here to visit. And they will talk about their pets, look at the garden, and talk about the gardens they have back home. We live the same lives. We just live in different parts of the world. And it's been a wonderful experience to feel like I'm much more a citizen of the world and a brother and a friend to people all across the globe as a result of this program.
Yeah, I definitely agree with this philosophy and with this worldview. And there is a really old kind of hippie saying that comes from Russia. It goes, "Все люди братья, и все братья сестры." It's kind of like crossing through all these different levels, and it goes like all people are brothers and all brothers are sisters. So it basically talks about the unity of, the whole universe, because if anybody doubts of the whole universal connection, is one of the good examples I like to bring in is that, if we bleed, the color is the same of the blood, and everybody goes like through the same experiences. Everybody's being born one day and everybody's gonna die one day. So it's kind of like a circle of life. And the more we connect with each other and the more we understand each other, it's just gonna be better for the whole planet and the whole universe. And so it's a pretty interesting experience.
And I think experiences like this, where we can share through public media, it helps to expand the horizons of people that are able to observe this. I certainly have had, and my family has had experiences having met people from Russia, but that's limited to our family. And in particular, when we have people that are media professionals here, media often dictates the information that we receive. And so if we have people from the media that are willing to give a true picture, then that helps to really create truth throughout all that we do.
Yes, definitely. I agree. So we haven't, you're part of the media, I forgot what you're doing.
Вы работаете в средствах массовой коммуникации. Чем вы занимаетесь?
У меня в газете есть своя рубрика, она касается майских указов нашего президента.
In our newspaper, I have my own column. I'm a columnist, and I normally write about the results of the May directives of the president. Our president gives directives in May, and then we have a year to fulfill them out.
Это программные документы, которые были подписаны президентом, и они объединяют много сфер.
This is the president's program that is covering different spheres of life.
Образование,
Education,
медицина,
medicine,
экономика,
healthcare,
демография,
economics, demography,
и так
demographics.
далее. На страницах газеты я осуществляю общественный контроль.
And through our newspaper, I'm doing a checkup work.
То есть слежу, чтобы местные чиновники не забывали исполнять эти задачи.
So basically, I'm watching that the local governments would not forget to fulfill their obligations.
А вам приходилось встречаться с разными формами цензуры?
Have you ever dealt with censorship?
Я думаю, в первую очередь, чаще всего я сталкиваюсь с самоцензурой.
I think what I'm dealing with is self-censorship rather than direct censorship.
Она подразумевает ответственность.
It comes out of responsibility.
Потому что, например, когда вы находитесь в кинотеатре, который наполнен людьми,
So, for instance, if you are sitting at the movie, in the movie theater, which is filled with audience, with people,
нельзя кричать «пожар» просто потому, что вам хочется
you,
кричать
you,
«пожар».
you cannot scream fire because you just want to scream fire, right?
Последствия могут быть ужасными.
The consequences could be pretty dire.
Это достаточно известный пример, и я его часто вспоминаю в своей работе.
And that's a very common example, and I often think about it before I say something in writing.
Yeah, that's a very important point of view.
Это очень интересная важная точка зрения.
Have to use the form of censorship, and I'm gonna take a moment to plug my microphone back
Я
in.
сейчас использую момент цензуры и снова прицеплю свой микрофон.
Okay, now it's gonna be cutting it all out, so that's good. All right, so again, this is the free forum of our forum, so to speak, and I hope we are definitely making some way there as far as making the relationship better. Anything you'd like to add, Neil?
Well, Artur, both Oleg and Chris mentioned the language barrier, and I've discovered there's lots of ways to overcome the language barrier. The way that works for me the best is alcohol.
Alcohol. Yes.
Simple as that. And again, these exchanges have two levels. One is the professional level, which we're doing right now, and that's why they're all very serious. But the other level is the social level, and after this is over, they'll resort back to their normal selves and be very happy, fun-loving guys. And this group that we have here this week is just another example of how they are just like us.
Absolutely, yes. Universal connection. And anybody, would you like to say anything?
Вы хотели бы
Какой
что-то
вопрос?
еще сказать?
Если мы говорим про цензуру, да, то работая...
Let's talk again about censorship.
Да, это очень интересный вопрос, его очень
It's an
часто
interesting
задают.
question, and we are asked very frequently while being here.
Мне как журналисту и в моей стране, и когда я приезжаю в Европу.
And not only in this country, but also in Europe and also in my own country.
Вообще,
Because I'm a
если
reporter.
в стране нет свободы слова, то об этом не говорят.
So if the country is lacking freedom of speech, nobody talks about it.
Но мы об этом говорим, поэтому
But we're talking about it.
с этим все в порядке, и все
So I
зависит
think
от журналиста.
everything is fine with freedom of speech.
И как сказал Олег, да, свой пример с кинотеатром, я с ним абсолютно согласен.
And as Oleg mentioned with his example of a movie theater, I would agree with him.
И если ты как журналист представляешь серьезные СМИ,
If you, as a journalist, if you are representing a serious news agency,
то ты должен помнить одну простую вещь.
you have to remember one simple thing.
Чем громче факт, тем спокойнее тон.
The louder the fact, the calmer the tone should be.
Yes, I definitely agree. I personally tend to sometimes, and I'm definitely working on it, to get emotional when I talk about this, all these different heavy
Я
topics.
лично тоже бывает эмоционально завожусь от каких-то новостей. То есть я работаю над собой в этом плане.
Да.
Я тоже.
Так
Me
что-
too. Yeah.
And we're not gonna have a fire in the studio, but if we do, we got all the safety precautions, and we have a fireman here, and everything's looking good so far.
То есть мы кричать не будем пожар в этой студии. У нас все меры предосторожно предприняты. У нас все оборудовано с противопожарной точки зрения.
Artur, I wanted to add that we've got exchanges coming and going all the time.
Okay, good.
And in fact, we have two delegations here this week at the same time. The group of journalists from Archangel, and we have one here from Moscow. And at the same time, we have 8 high school students from a school in Archangel visiting Casco Bay High School and Deering High School. But we've got more exchanges coming in December, and we've just had a many exchanges that have just come up this past few months, including the firefighter exchange. We're a nonprofit organization. We're all volunteers. We don't take any salaries. Any grant money that we get goes completely to the projects. And if people want to get interested and involved in the Sister City program with Archangel, just contact Arturs. He's one of our members, and just give him a ring or whatever, and he can get in touch with me if you want to get involved. And we're looking for anybody that does want to get involved and have some fun. The reason we do it is because it's fun, and it's something that we are privileged to be able to do. We're in a position to do this by sheer divine intervention, I think, and it's our responsibility to do it, and we're happy to do it.
Absolutely, I agree, and I agree because I think everything is happening for a reason, and great organizations like the Portland Archangels community is a great example of it.
The firefighter exchange, for example, we received a grant from the U.S. Embassy in Moscow to exchange firefighters, and we have, in the past year, we've exchanged probably 25 or 26 firefighters back and forth between the two communities. It's just an amazing program.
And has it been ever interrupted or stopped for?
No, never.
Nice.
We have never been stopped politically for any reason at any time.
This is great, yeah. Because, I personally was born in the USSR, and I remember the Soviet Union, and, my childhood was great. Yeah, I was able to travel everywhere to, the former Soviet republics. And I remember one of the things that we were in my high school that we were, it was called Уроки политинформации. And, but one of this...
Lessons of political information.
Yes. And one of the things that we did, but it's also social too, is everybody, one person would get to choose and he or she would do the report on different situations. But also as far as culture-wise, we also had to choose one of the republics. Back then in the Soviet Union, there was 15 different republics, as I remember correctly. I was a medium student in high school, so some stuff I chose to remember, and some stuff I just went through there. And but it was interesting. We had to choose a different nationality and wear their specific costume, and I thought it was a great way to learn about everybody's culture. And I'm really looking forward to seeing more of this happening. But at the same time, since I'm an Russian-American citizen who is part of my heritage, sometimes I noticed, people get nervous when it's like, oh, you're from Russia, and all of a sudden they're like this suspicious look. And so it's kind of interesting. So I always try to bring some humor into it, like, look, chill out, it's everything's good. We just need to open up and open up our hearts, our minds, and learn more languages. And things will definitely going to be turning around soon, and I feel like they already are. Is there any concerns that anybody has a feeling about it or would like to voice?
Concerns about?
Just in general, as far as
About the future?
About the future, yeah.
Есть ли у вас какие-то опасения в будущем? You're asking about the relations between the two countries, right?
Yeah, the two countries.
Есть ли какие-то опасения в будущем в области взаимоотношений наших стран?
Я думаю, что таких опасений не так много, я думаю, что их нет. Если будут действовать какие-то программы, люди будут общаться, как мы уже сказали, то навряд ли будут какие-то взаимоотношения в области стран. Если мы берем страну как большую политику, то там идет своя игра. Если мы берем...
So it depends what kind of politics we are talking about. If we are talking about people's diplomacy, as long as we have a venue for contacting each other, talking to each other, I don't think there are any dangers. Another thing is what we call big politics. This is a different ball game.
Если мы берем взаимоотношения между простыми людьми, то тут не должно быть никаких проблем.
So in terms of relations between the common people, I don't think we can foresee any problems in the future.
I would agree. When we were there in Archangel, I had an opportunity to do a presentation at a school where the students spoke very good English. And after the presentation, they asked many questions. And back in April, it looked like the two presidential candidates that we have now were the ones that we were going to get. And they asked, how do people in America feel about that? And I said, I think probably nobody's very excited about things, but that's kind of the way it works. But I said, those politics happen far away, and it's not really where we live. And they said it was the same for them in Russia. The big politics happen far away, but where they really live is the relationships that we have with the people that we're around, and the relationships that we develop when we're there. And those are the relationships that really matter.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's really important to have the open mind and be optimistic. And also, speaking on a different level, personally, I believe that there's as human species, we're much more capable of what we're doing now, and this is just feel like it's part of the growth, and as humans that we're here on Earth for a reason, and we're just developing those connections further and further. Yes, so, and again, this is the free format of the show, if anybody wants to jump in.
То есть это свободное шоу, если вы хотите что-то добавить, то есть не ждите, когда к вам обратятся с вопросом, то есть чувствуйте себя свободно.
Давай, запрыгивай.
Oleg would like to jump in.
Да,
Oleg, yes.
я хотел бы рассказать о том, что на самом деле у нас очень много общего.
I would like to say that in real life we have a lot in common.
Например, семья, в которой я живу в Портленде,
For instance, my host family in Portland, Maine,
очень любит русскую литературу.
they love Russian literature.
У них есть книги Толстого, Достоевского,
I saw books in their home, Tolstoy, Dostoevsky,
Набокова.
Nabokov.
Я очень люблю Шекспира
I love Shakespeare.
и американского писателя Ричарда Баха.
And American writer Richard, кто?
Ричард Бах.
Bach.
И когда мы обсуждаем такие вопросы,
And when we discuss those issues,
я понимаю, что русский и американец говорит об одном и том же.
I understand that Russians and Americans talk about the same very things.
Поэтому надо искать точки соприкосновения,
We need to find the points of our connection,
а не причины для противостояния.
but not the reasons for conflicts.
Confrontation, yeah.
И наш визит сюда, как мне кажется, является маленьким вкладом. вот
And
именно
our
в
visit here,
сближение.
I think it's another implementation. It's another step in the right direction.
Yes, a while ago we had this bookstore on Danforth Street, I believe, and I just went and looked there randomly, and all of a sudden I found this book.
Магазинчик тут есть, и я как-то зашел и увидел книжку.
Эта книжка была
This book was
1943 года,
published in 1943.
и это книжка была русская литература.
It was a Russian literature textbook,
Yeah, actually, I'm going to switch back and forth. It was a world literature,
world literature.
and of course, there was a Russian literature as well. And one of the things that I was surprised to find
И вот что мне удивило, что я
in
нашел.
in 1943, это было. There was a book by. It was a poem by Longfellow. He's one of the.
И в учебнике 1943 года они напечатали поэму Longfellow.
Yes, and
Помните поэт, по которому мы говорили?
and it was a poem about the Native American. people.
Это была поэма об индейцах.
And I was really surprised, and I'm just remember thinking,
Для меня это было удивление.
I'm holding this book. It's really old black and white book, and it also had the picture of Stalin in there.
То есть это учебник, там есть черно-белый портрет Сталина, такая старая книга.
И я вот думал, вот как так, там даже вот поэма.
And I'm thinking, how could it happen?
Yeah, there's this poem from long time ago, and there is the poem about the Native American written by the Longfellow.
An American poet.
Yeah, American poet.
Как они могли напечатать американского поэта в 43 году?
So that was really, I was really amazed by that.
А сейчас тебя бы удивило, если бы ты нашел такую книгу издания 2015 года или 2016?
Would you be surprised if you found a world literature book, Russian world literature book, and you would see poem of Longfellow or any other American writer? Would you be surprised?
Нет, not at all.
No.
Yeah.
Вот видите, все улучшается.
Да.
So everything is improving.
Absolutely, yes. Я согласен.
Longfellow is well known to the school children of Archangel.
Longfellow знают дети в Архангельске даже.
And I remember recently, within the last few years, there was an anniversary of Longfellow's birth.
Недавно была годовщина его со дня рождения.
And we did a video Skype session with one of the schools in Archangel.
И мы устроили видеомост одной из школ в Архангельске.
And the whole class recited Longfellow poems back
И
to us.
дети в России
In English.
рассказывали, читали стихи Longfellow на английском языке.
We took this particular delegation out to Portland Headlight last week.
С этой делегацией мы ездили на маяк.
And we showed them the actual rock.
И мы им показали вот камушек, на котором
where Longfellow would walk from Portland out to Portland Headlight,
вот Longfellow шел пешком,
sit on that rock,
сидел на этом
and write his poems.
камушке и писал свои поэмы.
Every delegation gets to see that rock.
И мы показываем это каждой делегации, этот камушек.
They took many pictures.
И Илья сделал много фотографий.
And in fact, this session that we're doing right now will be on Russian Facebook in about 10 minutes.
И вот то, что мы сейчас тут с вами говорим, и это мы записываем, на Фейсбуке это уже будет через 10 минут на русском Фейсбуке.
Maybe voice.
Может быть, через 8 минут уже будет все это висеть там.
Nice. Yeah, time flies really quick.
Да, время летит, да.
Yeah, this is amazing because also one time I was walking around here, and is there like a nice historic cemetery, and there was a sort of like a tombstone, and it had Longfellow name in there. So I was wondering if it's him or is it one part of his family.
Я вот тут сейчас ходил, у нас есть очень старое кладбище, я его видел надгробную плиту, и там была фамилия Longfellow, но я не знаю, это его могила или кого-то из родственников.
Не знаю.
I don't know.
Yeah, the mystery continues.
Да.
Yes, this is a. I believe that we're definitely living in a somewhat unstable times just for now, and I think things are definitely turning around, and that's why programs like that are very important.
Я думаю, что программы у нас сейчас, мы живем в нестабильное время, и вот такие программы, как наши, они имеют большое значение.
What's I guess I have a question about some of the favorite writers or composers, for example, for different people. How about you? Тебе больше всего чего нравится из литературы или из музыки, из русской или американской?
Из русской это Чехов? Писатель?
Russian literature, I think Chekhov would be my favorite writer.
Есть. В музыке я, как сказать, всеяден, если можно так сказать, да?
I can say that I'm all eater in terms of music. I like all sorts of music.
И с
variety.
одинаковым удовольствием слушаю и русскую, и английскую музыку, американскую.
And I don't have a preference whether I'm listening to Russian music or American music or British.
И знаю, что то же самое происходит и здесь. Например, у Нила в машине есть отличный диск с российской музыкой.
So I know that the same happens here too, on this end of the ocean. I know that Neil has a CD in his car with a great Russian music.
Правда,
Nice.
она 16-летней давности,
Unfortunately, this CD is 16-year-old already.
но она не поменялась с того времени.
But it didn't change that much.
Я думаю, нет смысла дарить ему новый диск.
So I don't think that there's any sense to give him another CD.
Was there any swearing in there, Neil?
No swearing, but yesterday
Вчера
I had a few of the Russian high school students in my car,
у меня в машине сидели несколько школьников российских.
and I said, let me play you some Russian music.
Я говорю, давайте я вам сыграю чуть-чуть русскую музыку.
They say, no,
Они говорят,
turn on the
не,
radio.
включай радио.
So I turned on the radio for some American music,
Ну, я включил радио, чтобы там какая-нибудь американская музыка заиграла.
modern popular music, which I've never heard before.
Была какая-то современная музыка, которую я вообще никогда не слышал.
And these high school students from Archangel are singing the words along with the American song.
И вот эти дети сидят и подпевают все слова этой песни, это американская песня, они ее прекрасно знают.
And I asked them, how do you know the words to
Я говорю,
these
как вы
songs?
знаете слова этой
I've never
песни?
even heard the song.
Я даже не слышал эту песню.
And they
вы
said,
знаете слова.
we listen to these songs all the time.
Она говорит, они говорят, мы слушаем эту музыку
It's a
постоянно.
small world.
Маленький мир.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Because, you know, growing up, I was listening to jazz, Louis Armstrong and Ella Fitzgerald.
Я когда рос, я слушал джаз, я слушал Луи Армстронга, Эллу Фицджеральд.
One of the CDs in my car is the Russian CD version of Frank Sinatra.
И у меня один из дисков в моей машине это русский диск с русской версией Франка Синатры.
Yeah, this is really fascinating. One time I was able to, I found this vinyl it's I think it's a Melodia Records, but I'm not quite sure. But it was the Tom Waits, and it was one of the albums. I think it was called Swordfish Trombone, and I was really surprised. Yeah, it was a great.
И я тоже помню, нашел в магазине старую пластинку фирмы Мелодия с записью американского тромбониста, да? Да.
Yeah. So yeah, those are all good signs, folks. You know,
Yes.
those.
A lot of good signs.
Yeah, those are connector points, and from that we can grow further.
Next year we hope to do more firefighter exchanges, more
На следующий год мы хотим
more
больше
students.
пожарных привозить, больше учеников.
The Open World program, which is based at the Library of Congress, has sponsored the trips of these journalists. But next year, we hope to maybe bring over some young entrepreneurs from Archangel, some forest management people, and maybe even some indigenous peoples of the Archangel region.
Nice. I was wondering what kind of indigenous people would be in the Archangelsk
Вот
region.
мне интересно, Нил сказал про то, что будет, может быть, группа малых народностей на следующий год из Архангельской области. Вопрос такой, что за малые народности живут в Архангельской области?
Nenets.
Yeah.
Да, у нас есть Ненецкий автономный округ, есть
We have the whole area, it's called Nenets Autonomous Region in Archangel region.
они ведут самобытный кочевой образ жизни. Кто-то занимается оленеводством, это очень популярно среди этих народов.
Mostly deer herders, it's probably the most popular profession there.
Reindeer.
Reindeer, yeah.
И они
Reindeer.
часто становятся предметом исследования фольклористов, ученых.
A lot of scientists, a lot of folklore researchers spend a lot many efforts to study this nation, to study their culture, their traditions.
Они представляют большой интерес, и я думаю, что это действительно уникальное явление.
I think that their tribes are unique.
В эпоху глобализации они сохраняют
In this era of globalization, they managed to preserve
то, что у них есть, и многие из
what they
них
have.
не готовы к переменам.
And many of them do not want any changes.
С ними интересно пообщаться.
They're very interesting to talk to.
Yes. Wow, this is great. You know, we're soon going to be running out of time, and I definitely appreciate everybody.
Ну здорово, у нас уже время, правда, подходит к концу.
I do want to thank the Portland Fire Department for their involvement in these exchanges. It's been spectacular.
Я бы хотел поблагодарить портландскую пожарную часть за всю их помощь в организации этих обменных программ.
We spent the day with them today, and it was just great.
Мы сегодня провели с ними день, просто замечательный день.
Yes, this is amazing, and I'm really looking forward. Maybe we'll have some more people from the, the cultural department, so to speak.
Ну, может быть, будет еще какие-то больше культурных обменов.
Our next group is coming in December 4th or 5th, something like that.
Следующая группа 4 декабря.
Happens all the time.
Nice, yeah.
То есть все постоянный обмен.
So yeah, so everybody stay tuned, and also to this Friday, tomorrow, and my radio show every Friday afternoon, 1:30 to 3 o'clock. Звуки России, music from other Russian inhabited countries. We're gonna have more guests, and we're gonna be talking about that as well.
Yes, 2 of our folks will be with you tomorrow afternoon.
Yes, and that would be great. So thank you so much, folks, and everybody stay tuned, and we're gonna be looking on Facebook. I'll check out 8 minutes from now. It's better be on.
No, it's on now. Artur, it's on now.
Nice. Great. So thank you so much. This has been Arturs Roundtable, and stay tuned for more information, and I will see you later on. Thank you.